Dear VACC members, as you're probably aware, the Victorian Government has reviewed the rules for Stage 4 lockdown requirements in Victoria. This update is designed to give members as much clarity as possible on the current situation, but I need to underscore this message. This is what we know to date, and no one can guarantee that further changes and clarifications won't be made. As a matter of fact, you should expect they will be made. Our job is to give you our best interpretation of the rules as they change, but ultimately you'll need to make business decisions based on your particular conditions and the work that you intend to do. That is the job you get a call about or the job that's going to come into your workshop. Many members are looking for 100% clarity on very specific issues, and I'm here to tell you it doesn't exist, and it probably won't over the coming weeks. The best test to apply in relation to work through this period is to ask yourself, am I working within the rules and within the intentions of the COVID Stage 4 lockdown? If you don't think you are, then don't do the work. VACC has exerted its views on the restrictions strongly with the Victorian Government, and we've sought as much clarity and flexibility as we can to help members do their work and to limit any potential penalties that may impact them. Remember also that our information changes as the government's does, so you need to rely on the most recent information. As an overview of the current situation, we have a number of distinct COVID requirements that determine what sort of work can be undertaken and in what context. These include Stage 3 lockdown areas in regional Victoria, and members in these areas can carry out their work pretty much as normal with the appropriate COVID, staff and business measures in place. That's really important. We need to make sure that we lock this thing down wherever it is. We have a Stage 4 lockdown for the metropolitan area, and this means there are express conditions around work that can and cannot be undertaken on vehicles. The primary guide for what you can and can't do is found in the Stage 4 restrictions table, which can be found on the DHSS website, and there's a link below and you can go to that website and find the tables. This table outlines permitted work premises, any exceptions that might exist and the sort of work that can be undertaken for vehicles in those categories and for other types of work. For instance, in the transport, postal and warehousing sector, vehicle repairs and critical maintenance, including disinfecting, can be undertaken on vehicles in that category. So again, looking at the intentions of the Stage 4 lockdown, the intention here is to keep essential vehicles in this category on the road through the provision of repairs and critical maintenance. Up until this Wednesday, the 5th of August, VACC maintained with government that scheduled and logbook servicing for all vehicles was critical for the maintenance of the health and safety of Victorians. We fought for this position on behalf of the industry and to keep a safe vehicle fleet on the road. On Thursday this week, the government expressly advised VACC that only services covering essential and critical vehicle repair and maintenance were permitted to open for on-site work, and this did not include routine servicing. And for the sake of clarity, we interpret this to also mean logbook and schedule servicing, it's out. So outside of repairs and maintenance that you can undertake in the table of permitted work premises, the example I used earlier was transport, postal and warehousing, you can undertake work on other vehicles where it is essential and critical. The next question, of course, is what is essential and critical? The state government has not defined this anywhere beyond the statement essential and critical. Please be careful here. It doesn't say essential or critical. It needs to be both, essential and critical. On the day in your workshop, you need to make the call of the work you do based on the circumstances in front of you, if that vehicle meets that test. Imagine a police officer standing next to you and making their judgment. What would they say? If you think your assessment is questionable, don't do the work. Ultimately though, it has to take into consideration the conditions of the vehicle, the owner, and those of the environment that it's in. It's got a blown tyre, the windscreen's broken, are the brakes leaking? In my view, these sorts of things are essential and critical. But also remember this, the need to separate yourself from the customer. The whole idea of the lockdown is to keep people apart and that includes people coming anywhere near your business. We've had lots of questions about the movements of vehicles to workshops. Again, you'd have to have a contactless process in place to cater for this need. Personally, the safest thing to do in these times is to freight or tow vehicles to your premises and remove any contact between you and the customer. That is the safest place to be. This information is an update and an overview, and it's based on our current interpretation of the rules. We'll bring more information to you as it emerges, and we're here to answer your questions. Older COVID information from VACC shouldn't be relied upon if it relates to the rules before Wednesday the 5th of August, as it may not be pertinent. We know these are tough times, but we're here to work alongside you and to help you. If you need more help and information, call the VACC.